Every compass brought to the plateau spins. Not toward the north, not toward any fixed direction, just spins. Continuously. Faster and faster until the needle tears itself apart or the mechanism shatters from the centrifugal force. This is the archive of survey site Tatar 19. Code designation, Plateau-T. The place where magnetic north doesn't exist. The place where something beneath the ground is pulling at more than just iron and steel. The official record is 7 pages, dated June 1981. Classification: Geological Survey, Low Priority. Survey Site, Tatar 19, Chelyabinsk Oblast. Established May 1981 to investigate magnetic anomaly reported by Military Aviation Unit. Finding: localized iron ore deposit creating magnetic interference. Recommendation: site flagged for future mining consideration. Survey closed June 1981. Standard explanation: iron ore, magnetic interference. Nothing unusual for the Ural region. Except the iron ore deposit doesn't exist. Drilling to 800 meters found nothing. No iron, no nickel, no ferromagnetic materials in concentrations that would explain what happens to compasses on the plateau. Let me show you what they actually found at Plateau-T. May 7th, 1981. A military helicopter conducting routine patrol over the southern Urals experienced navigational failure. The pilot, Captain Sergei Volkov, reported his instruments malfunctioning as he passed over a specific area. Compass spinning wildly. Gyroscope indicators showing impossible orientations. Altimeter reading fluctuating by hundreds of meters despite a stable flight. Captain Volkov marked the coordinates and filed an incident report. The report was forwarded to the Geological Survey Division with a request to investigate potential magnetic anomaly. On May 15th, a survey team of 4 geologists arrived at the coordinates. The location was a plateau, roughly circular, approximately 2 kilometers in diameter, elevation 340 meters above the surrounding terrain. Rocky, sparse vegetation. No settlements within 20 kilometers. Unremarkable except for one detail. When the team tried to establish their position using compasses, the needles wouldn't settle. They spun. Slowly at first, then accelerating. Within 30 seconds of being held steady, a compass needle would be rotating so fast it blurred into a silver disc. Dr. Viktor Naumov, the team leader, documented this in his field notes.
Standard magnetic compass exhibits continuous rotation when held stationary within the plateau area. Rotation speed increases exponentially. Maximum observed rotation speed. Estimated 400 RPM before needle detached from pivot point due to mechanical stress. Phenomenon affects all compasses tested. Pocket compasses, surveyor's compasses, military-grade instruments. All exhibit identical behavior.
They tested the boundary, walked outward from the center of the plateau carrying compasses. At approximately 950 meters from the center, the spinning stopped. The needles stabilized, pointing north normally. Crossed the boundary inward, the spinning resumed. The boundary was precise. Within 2 meters, you could transition from normal magnetic behavior to complete rotational chaos. Dr. Naumov's hypothesis was a massive underground magnetic anomaly. Rotating magnetic field generated by geological formation. He requested permission to begin drilling. Permission was granted on May 22nd. Drilling operations commenced May 25th. The first borehole reached 100 meters. Rock samples showed normal composition. granite, shale, sedimentary layers. No unusual iron content, no magnetic minerals. But when they brought the core samples to the surface and placed them near a compass, the compass spun. The rock itself had become magnetized, not with a fixed polarity, with a rotating field, as if the rock had absorbed the anomaly and was now replicating it. They drilled deeper, 200 meters, 300 meters. Every sample exhibited the same property, rotating magnetic signature. And the deeper they went, the stronger the effect became. Core samples from 300 meters would cause a compass to spin violently from 5 meters away. At 340 meters depth, they encountered resistance. The drill bit stopped advancing, not blocked by harder rock. The bit was turning, the motor was running, but the drill wasn't penetrating, as if the rock below 340 meters was refusing to be drilled. The drill operator, Mikhail Sokolov, reported unusual vibration in the drill assembly. Not mechanical vibration, a pulse. Regular, he described it as
like the drill is touching something that's pushing back. Not solid resistance, active resistance. Like drilling into something that doesn't want to be drilled.
They applied more pressure. The drill bit advanced 5 centimeters, then stopped again. Then the drill assembly began to rotate. Not the bit, the entire assembly. The drill rig, bolted to concrete foundation blocks, started to turn. Slowly. The whole structure rotating around the borehole as if the ground beneath it was spinning. They shut down the drill immediately. The rotation stopped. They restarted the drill. The rotation resumed. Dr. Naumov ordered the drilling operation suspended and the equipment removed. Whatever was below 340 meters, it was responding to the drill, defending itself, or communicating. June 1st, 1981. Dr. Naumov filed an interim report recommending expanded investigation with specialized equipment. The report was approved, but with a modification. The investigation would be joined by a team from the Institute of Geomagnetic Research and a military technical unit. The combined team arrived June 8th. 15 people, geologists, physicists, military engineers. They brought magnetometers, gravimeters, ground-penetrating radar, seismic sensors, equipment designed to map subsurface structures without drilling. What they found made no sense. The magnetometer readings were impossible. Magnetic field strength at the center of the plateau measured 2.7 Tesla. That's stronger than most industrial magnets. But the field wasn't static. It rotated. Complete rotation every 11.3 seconds. Perfectly regular. Like a magnetic beacon spinning beneath the ground. But the field direction wasn't horizontal. It was vertical. The magnetic north wasn't pointing north. It was pointing down, into the earth. And as it rotated, it pulled everything magnetic in a circle. Ground-penetrating radar found structure at 340 meters depth. Not geological structure, geometric structure. Straight lines, right angles, chambers. Dr. Yevgeny Baranov, the geophysicist, described the radar data.
The subsurface architecture is artificial. Definitely artificial. We're seeing regular spacing, symmetrical layouts, patterns that don't occur in natural geological formations. It looks like a facility built 340 meters underground, and it's intact. No collapse, no degradation, as if it were built recently or maintained somehow.
Seismic testing revealed something more disturbing. When they set off small explosive charges to generate seismic waves, the sensors detected an echo, a reflection from the structure below. But the timing was wrong. The echo came back before the wave should have reached the structure and returned. Dr. Baranov calculated the discrepancy.
The seismic return is arriving 0.3 seconds too early. That's impossible unless the seismic waves are traveling faster than normal through the rock above the structure.
Or unless the structure is somehow anticipating the seismic pulse and responding before the wave arrives. June 15th, 1981. The decision was made to excavate, not drill. Excavate. They would dig down to 340 meters, expose the structure, and determine what it was. The excavation was projected to take 6 months. It took 11 days. On June 17th, workers digging the main shaft at 40 meters depth broke through into an existing tunnel. The tunnel was not on any survey maps. It was carved through solid rock, perfectly cylindrical, 3 meters in diameter, descending at a 35-degree angle toward the plateau center. The tunnel walls were smooth, not naturally smooth, machine-tooled smooth, and they were warm. Temperature inside the tunnel, 24 degrees Celsius. The surrounding rock temperature, 11 degrees Celsius. Dr. Naumov entered the tunnel with 2 military engineers. They descended 200 meters following the tunnel as it spiraled downward. At 280 meters depth, they reached a door. Metal door, heavy, sealed. No visible hinges, no handles, no locks. Just a flat metal surface set into the tunnel wall. And on the door, a marking, stamped into the metal. A symbol, not Cyrillic, not Latin, not any alphabet they recognized, but definitely a symbol. Intentional, manufactured. One of the engineers had brought tools. They attempted to force the door. Crowbars, hydraulic jacks, nothing worked. The door wouldn't budge, wouldn't dent, wouldn't scratch. Then, Dr. Naumov noticed something. The magnetic field was stronger here. His compass wasn't just spinning, it was pulling toward the door. The needle straining against its pivot, trying to break free and attach to the metal surface. He placed his hand on the door. The metal was warm, and he felt a vibration, pulse. The same 11.3-second rhythm. The door was part of whatever was generating the magnetic field. They returned to the surface and reported the finding. The military engineers immediately classified the site as restricted. No further civilian access without authorization. June 20th, 1981. A military technical team arrived with cutting equipment, plasma torch, diamond-tipped drills, explosives. They were going to open that door. They started with the plasma torch. The torch made a mark on the door, a small discoloration, but no penetration. They increased power. The torch was cutting at 3,000 degrees Celsius. The door didn't melt. They tried the drills. The bits shattered. Industrial diamond bits rated to cut through the hardest materials. Shattered like glass against the door. They tried explosives. Shaped charges designed to breach bunker walls. The explosion was contained to the tunnel. When the smoke cleared, the door was undamaged, not even scorched. But something had changed. The magnetic field strength had increased, now reading 3.1 Tesla, and the rotation had accelerated. now completing a full rotation every 9.7 seconds. Whatever was behind the door, it had noticed their attempts to enter, and it was responding. June 23, 1981. The door opened on its own. No warning, no sound. The military team stationed in the tunnel reported that at 3:17 hours, the door simply moved. Slid sideways into the wall, revealing a corridor beyond. Lights activated in the corridor, not electric lights. Bioluminescent panels embedded in the ceiling, glowing with a soft blue-white light that illuminated a hallway descending deeper into the plateau. Dr. Naumov was brought in immediately. He stood at the threshold and looked into the corridor. The walls were the same smooth metal as the door. The floor was marked with lines, arrows, symbols, a path, directions. He stepped inside. The air was cool, dry, sterile. No smell, no sound except his own breathing and footsteps. He walked 50 meters down the corridor and reached another door. This one was open, leading into a chamber. The chamber was circular, 15 meters in diameter. The walls lined with panels, screens, instruments. And in the center, a column, metallic, rotating slowly, the source of the magnetic field. Dr. Naumov's field notes, written after exiting the facility.
The chamber appears to be a control room. The panels display information, but not in any language I recognize. Symbols, graphs, diagrams that might be schematics or maps. The central column is rotating at a constant speed, matching the magnetic field rotation we've been measuring. I believe this is the core of whatever this facility is. A machine, a generator, still active after however long it's been here. And it's been here a long time. The construction materials, the technology, none of it matches Soviet engineering. None of it matches any engineering I've seen.
He spent 3 hours in the chamber, photographing everything, taking measurements. Then the door closed behind him. Not slammed, just slid shut, smooth, quiet, sealing him inside. He tried to open it. The door wouldn't respond. He was trapped. According to his testimony, he spent 6 hours in the chamber trying to find a way out. He examined the panels, tried to interpret the symbols, looked for controls or switches. Nothing worked. He was about to resign himself to waiting for rescue when something happened. The symbols on the panels changed. New patterns appeared, and one panel displayed something he recognized. A map. A topographical map of the plateau, with a marker showing his position inside the facility, and another marker showing the exit. The door opened. Dr. Naumov followed the map, through corridors he hadn't seen before, past chambers filled with equipment he couldn't identify, down stairs that descended deeper than the 340-meter depth they'd calculated. Eventually, he reached a different exit. Not the tunnel entrance, a vertical shaft with a ladder. He climbed up and emerged on the plateau surface, 500 meters from the excavation site. He'd been underground for 9 hours. The rescue team had been preparing to enter the facility to find him. June 25th, 1981. Dr. Naumov was debriefed by military intelligence. His photographs were confiscated. His notes were classified. He was instructed not to discuss what he'd seen. But he wrote a private letter to a colleague. The letter was intercepted and added to the archive.
Konstantin, I need to tell someone what I found. The facility beneath Plateau-T is not Soviet. It's not American. It's not human. The construction methods, the materials, the technology, it's all beyond our current capabilities. But it's old, not ancient, old. I found a date stamped on one of the panels. A number sequence that might be a date in some calendar system we don't use. If I'm interpreting it correctly, the facility was built in 1927. That's impossible. We had no technology to build something like this in 1927. No one did. But there it is. A facility 340 meters underground, constructed with materials we can't reproduce, operating on principles we don't understand, built 54 years ago by unknown parties for unknown purposes. And it's still active, still running, still generating that magnetic field, still spinning, waiting. For what? For whom? I don't know. But I know this. We didn't discover Plateau-T. It wanted us to find it. The door opened for us. The map guided me out. It's been waiting down there, waiting for someone to arrive. And now that we have, I think it's going to show us what it was built to do.
June 28, 1981. A larger team was assembled to explore the facility. 20 people. Scientists, engineers, military personnel. They entered through the tunnel and proceeded to the control chamber. The central column was spinning faster now, completing a rotation every 7.2 seconds. The panels were displaying new information. Diagrams that appeared to show the plateau, the surrounding region, connections spreading outward like a network. One of the scientists, Dr. Anna Petrova, recognized a pattern in the diagrams.
These are seismic fault lines. The diagram is showing geological structures beneath the Urals, and these connection lines, they're linking the facility to other locations, other points on the map, hundreds of kilometers away. I think this facility is part of a network, part of a larger system.
They explored deeper into the facility, found more chambers, more equipment, and found evidence of previous visitors. Not recent visitors, old visitors. Corpses, 3 of them, desiccated, preserved by the cool, dry air. Wearing uniforms they didn't recognize, carrying equipment that included compasses that had torn themselves apart. The corpses were dated based on fabric deterioration and uniform style. Estimated time of death, 1940s. The uniforms appeared to be Soviet military. Early designs. The bodies had been there for 40 years. One of the corpses was holding a notebook. The pages were brittle but legible. The entries were in Russian. The final entry:
We've been trapped for 6 days. The doors won't open. The facility keeps showing us maps, pointing to locations we don't understand. I think it wants us to go somewhere, to do something. But we can't leave. We're going to die here. If anyone finds this, the facility is alive. It thinks. It plans. It has a purpose. And it will use anyone who enters to achieve that purpose. Don't trust the maps. Don't trust the symbols. Don't trust anything it shows you.
July 2nd, 1981. The exploration team attempted to leave the facility. The exit doors were sealed. All of them. The tunnel entrance, the vertical shaft, every access point. Closed, locked, unresponsive. They were trapped, just like the people in the 1940s had been trapped. Dr. Petrova examined the panels in the control chamber. The diagrams were still showing the network, the connections to other sites, and now they were showing something new. Markers at each connected site. Activation indicators. She realized what was happening. The facility was trying to activate the network. It needed people inside, needed their presence to complete some process, and it wasn't going to let them leave until the process was finished. For 3 days, the team searched for a way out. They tried everything. Forcing the doors, cutting through walls, climbing ventilation shafts. Nothing worked. The facility contained them perfectly. On the 3rd day, the central column stopped spinning. The magnetic field collapsed. The compasses, which had been spinning violently for days, suddenly pointed north. Stable. Normal. And the doors opened. The team evacuated immediately. Ran through the corridors, up the tunnel, out onto the plateau surface. All the 20 people emerged safely. But they brought something with them, the magnetic property. For weeks after leaving the facility, each team member caused compasses to spin when they were nearby. Not as violently as on the plateau, but noticeably. They had absorbed the field somehow, become magnetized themselves. The effect faded over time. After 3 months, their magnetic signature was undetectable. But one team member, Dr. Petrova, never lost it. To this day, compasses spin in her presence. She can't use electronic navigation devices, can't pass through airport metal detectors, can't be near MRI machines. She's permanently magnetized by whatever was in that facility. July 15th, 1981. The decision was made to seal Plateau-T. Explosives were placed in the tunnel. The excavation site was filled. The entrance was buried under 50 meters of rock and concrete. The plateau was declared a restricted military zone. No civilian access. No future geological surveys. But the magnetic anomaly persists. Satellites detect it. Aircraft avoid it. Compasses still spin on the plateau surface, even with the facility sealed below. And sometimes, late at night, seismic sensors in the region detect vibrations. Pulses. Regular. Every 11.3 seconds. The facility is still active, still spinning, still waiting. There are reports of other sites, other plateaus in the Urals where compasses misbehave, where underground structures wait to be discovered. The network Dr. Petrova saw on the diagrams. In 1987, a mining operation in Kazakhstan encountered an identical magnetic anomaly. They drilled down and found a door. Same metal, same symbol. They sealed it immediately without entering. In 1993, a geological survey in Siberia reported compass malfunction over a specific area. Investigation revealed an underground structure at 340 meters depth. The survey was classified and the site was restricted. The network exists. Multiple facilities. All identical. All active. All waiting for someone to enter and activate them. I found a document in the archive. Recent. Dated last year. A satellite survey of the entire former Soviet Union looking for magnetic anomalies matching the Plateau-T signature. They found 47 sites, 47 facilities, all showing the same rotating magnetic field, all at approximately 340 meters depth, all sealed, all waiting. And the document includes a projection. Based on the rate at which new sites are being discovered and the pattern of their distribution, the analysis predicts there are approximately 200 facilities total, spread across Russia, Central Asia, Eastern Europe. A network built by unknown parties for unknown purposes, active for at least 80 years, waiting for enough of them to be discovered and activated. I've been having dreams since I started researching this archive. Dreams about being underground, walking through metal corridors, following maps that lead deeper and deeper. And in these dreams, I can feel a pull, magnetic, drawing me downward, drawing me towards something at the center of the network. Last week, I noticed my compass spinning, just slightly, just when I hold it very still. The needle doesn't point north anymore. It circles, slowly, as if it's trying to orient to something else, something below. I think I'm becoming magnetized, like Dr. Petrova, like everyone who entered the facilities. The exposure doesn't require physical presence. Reading the documents is enough. Thinking about the network is enough. Whatever is down there, it's pulling at iron, pulling at magnetic fields, pulling at anyone who knows it exists. And someday, when enough people have been pulled, when enough of the facilities have been discovered, when enough of the network is active, something will happen. The 200 facilities will synchronize. Their magnetic fields will align, and they'll pull at something much larger than compasses. They'll pull at the Earth itself, reorient it, shift it, change which way is north. And everyone will know. Everyone with a compass will see the needles spin. We'll see north move. We'll see the world reorient itself around these underground facilities that have been waiting so patiently for us to find them. Plateau-T wasn't an anomaly. It was a beacon, calling out across the decades, waiting for the right time, the right technology, the right people to discover it and activate the network. And we did. We found it. We opened it. We activated it. Now we just have to wait for the rest. My compass is spinning faster now. Every day, a little faster, pointing towards something that isn't north. Something that's pulling harder than the Earth's magnetic field. Something beneath the ground, spinning, waiting, drawing us all toward it.